What do you believe the city's role is in funding social service agencies, or should be?
I think that Charter Ordinance number 33 provides that a third of the alcohol tax revenue will go to social service agencies that provide services in that area. The other thirds go to the Special Recreation Fund and to the General Fund. I think it's important that we use that money. We use that money to provide for the Boys and Girls Club. That's a very significant thing in our community. So there are other ways that we spend that money. Beyond the alcohol fund, I think that we need to take a close look at what we're doing. Russ is sitting down here. We have a city hospital. I think it's important to make sure that the city hospital is involved in making sure that health services are provided. But again, we have the city's role is core services, and until we're getting those things done, I think we need to take a hard look at things beyond Charter Ordinance number 33.
This is a bit of a tough one for me, in part because I really and truly do believe as a community we value our social services. We value our library, we value our community shelter, we value our arts center, we value all of the social services that make Lawrence what it is. That's not to say that we haven't been bitten by that in recent history. I do think there is a responsibility for the city to fund things appropriately, all of our social services, and to do it in an open and transparent manner. That's not to say that we should be irresponsible with that money, though. And an organization who comes to overly rely on our funds when they're supposed to be doing their own internal fundraisers and grant writing and things of that nature, and that are unable to do so, I think we need to have a frank discussion at that point in time.
Well, I believe that helping those in need is a core service of the city. I believe it's something that we need to be doing. And we do that in lots of ways. And when we've put that to the vote of the people, we have a transit tax that people use, and they see that as a service. We have the affordable housing tax. We have the mental health tax that is countywide, of course. And so I believe our citizens believe it's a core service. And I believe we need, again, as Ken said, to use it wisely. But I believe I believe the city and the county and governmental entities are in a position to help maximize and help our citizens, and they need to use that position to partner with folks to help all of our citizens. And so to me, it's a core service, it's a very important service, and it's a matter of partnership.
Well, so for me, our city is literally forged in flames over the idea that all residents deserve dignity and equality. Like Quantrill burned our city to the ground because we stood up against slavery. And so we should carry that proud, progressive history forward, make sure those who are least among us are getting services that they need. The homeless shelter, for example, is personal to me. My father has experienced homelessness. When we do not fund services, oftentimes there's a cost that is not discussed. If homeless folks who were unable to stay in the shelter are now sleeping in the field next to the shelter, they're going to require additional services from Bert Nash or additional services from emergency medical response teams. And so, this isn't oh boo-hoo, what a charitable city we are, but this is about economic justice and moving our city forward for everyone.
I was happy to vote yes as a member of the Planning Commission on the drop-in center, downtown drop-in center. The city in general has to develop policies that encourage. The city, through policies and decisions, cannot create barriers where barriers shouldn't exist. And further, I think city commissioners have a duty to be real leaders, bringing others together, other stakeholders to the table, trying to find a way in a collaborative environment to find a long-term solution. Funding-wise, we should augment these budgets. We should. And we should, the city commissioners should look for other partners who want to augment those budgets. Also, we do at a certain point have to give the work back to those agencies to make sure that they're doing the things that make their own operations sustainable. In an emergency, we come in, do what we need to do, but long-term, those agencies have a responsibility to do that.
Lawrence, our community is a family. It is not a business. We don't get to leave people behind in the service of budget slashing. There's no question that the taxpayers expect us to be efficient and do the most with the funds that we have. But again, as others have stated, Lawrence has shown again and again through their votes that these social services are important to them and they expect them to be funded and serviced by our government. Certainly, it's great that individuals come forward and give their time and their money, but ultimately the public expects those services to be recognized and funded with their money as well as private money. And certainly we always have to watch our budget, but anything that damages the relationships with those social services or the importance that people clearly place on it should be, we should stop doing that, reconsider what's happened certainly here lately.